Today's a big day in the toy room. Today is the day that I get to add another Spawn figure in my Spawn collection, which means a lot to me. I'm so excited. I feel like X-Manny the first time he got to see a Ninja Turtle in a Power Ranger costume. But before we get this video started, I want to throw a shout out there to Ty. Ty, thank you so much. Hopefully when you come to Vegas, we'll go to Supercross, bring your dirt bike. We'll either ride on your way in or on your way out of town. And also thank you for introducing me to Carmen. And Carmen, thank you for getting this thing in the mail and getting it over to me so fast. I was really excited to get this. But most importantly, thank you, Todd, for inventing Spawn. Spawn is by far my favorite thing in my action figure collection. When I show you my Spawn action figure collection, you'll be like, okay, that's the difference between this review and every other review, because this guy has every Spawn figure to compare it to. This thing does mean a lot to me. I know they remade a couple Spawn figures a couple years back. They had limited articulation. A lot of you guys were hating on them. A couple of you guys loved them. And go, man, there's just not enough articulation for me. I wish that they would make more articulation. Well, back in the day, he did mess with articulation. Was it as good as this? No, but it was pretty good at the time. I'll pull out a couple of his articulated figures. They're probably like 20 years old to compare it with. God, I'm excited about this. We'll go over the articulation. He also sent me this Bloodshot action figure. Bloodshot, I mean, it's a cool action figure, but I already kind of see this thing sitting on the pegs at Walgreens. It doesn't seem like it's flying off the shelf. This, I don't think, is going to sit very long at all. The fact that he put it in a Mortal Kombat line, I'm grateful that he did. But let's be real here, guys. Spawn needs his own line. He's not a back burner in Mortal Kombat. This is a guy, you could give me a full 6-figure assortments, build a figure, not a build a figure. I need more Spawn figures. Let's check this shit out. All right. I need to calm down. I need to stop stuttering. I need to quit repeating myself. Breathe. Take my time with this thing. But on the other hand, I've been waiting 20 plus years to put a good articulated Spawn figure on my shelf, and I'm extremely excited. Let's take a close look at the detail, and then we'll go over some of this articulation. Look at the head sculpt on there. Every line on there is sculpted in. Look at those bright green eyes. Absolutely killed it. All the muscle tone on there sculpted in. The Spawn symbol sculpted in. I love that they did the skull with the chain and the spikes. He didn't overdo it on the chain, which is cool, but I also like it when he does overdo it. So it's nice to have a little mix, one with a little bit of chain, one with a lot of chain. Maybe the next one will have a lot of chain. And if you're wondering what this weird black thing is on it, that's called a wash. They actually used to do that on action figures back in the day. I know we haven't seen it for a while, but hey, he's back in business, so get used to it. The texture on the cape, they absolutely killed it. The pouches, they got the club foot, the spikes. Look at the paintwork on this thing. There's not one mistake on that. It's absolutely flawless. The sword, look at that little Spawn face on there. The attention to detail on the sword. The attention to detail on this whole entire action figure. Let's go ahead and take a look at this articulation. The head is on a ball. For me, you get plenty of movement out of it. Hopefully you guys agree. Let's work our way down. On the shoulders, you got a butterfly joint here. Look how smooth that transitions. Look how well hidden that articulation is. That's how it's supposed to be done. You get plenty of movement there. He also has a slit here in the bicep, the upper bicep. You can't even see that. I love that. The double jointed elbow. It's cool, the spike hits, so you're only going to get so much out of that. The only thing that keeps this thing from being a perfect action figure is the pins. I'm never going to stop talking about it. The more I talk about it, I feel like the less figures that we get with pins. Todd's an artist. He loves to see his figures nice and clean. One way to clean this figure up is to get rid of the pins. That's pretty much the only thing that this could be improved on. Coming down the wrist, you still have the ball here on the wrist that I normally don't like when I can see it, but the gauntlets cover it, so the wrist articulation, the hand articulation is actually really clean. Then you come down to the, let's go ahead and check out this ab crunch. This is my favorite ab crunch. I think that's clean. It works really well. Then it also crunches here a little bit at the waist, so you kind of get like a double ab crunch there. And then if you look up, it's sculpted all the way up in there, which is definitely nice. Coming down to the thigh joint is one of my favorite things on this. I hate when action figures have gappy thighs. Look how clean that transitions from the thigh to the crotch area right there. And if you turn it around, you look at the spawn butt. Look how good that transitions right there. And then the articulation on that, you think that it wouldn't be really good, but then you'd get tons of movement out of that. Really killed it on that. There's no thigh cut. Thank you for not doing the thigh cut. I hate when you guys put thigh cuts on action figures. I know a lot of you guys like it, but come on, give me this one. Sometimes less is more, and that's definitely the case here. Don't put a cut in the thigh. I don't like it. Then the double knee actually works really good. It goes all the way back. You can't ask for anything more than that. You come down to the ankle. It still has the ball on the ankle, which this one's hidden, but you can't do much with the club. But I totally get that. Like, I really don't want any articulation here. I just want the classic Spawn club foot. You get plenty of movement here. It does have an ankle pivot twist, and it has toe articulation for you guys that want a toe articulation. Well, guess what? You got it. Look at the back of this thing, really clean. The cape is clean. I can't ask for anything more out of an action figure. I think they absolutely killed it. They come with stands. The stands are cool. They don't really need the stands. They stand pretty good without it. Then you have this blood. Let me get this thing. You have the bloodshot here with it. Also comes with the stand. You don't need the stand. I don't know if I'm going to display it with the stand or not. If you're a Bloodshot fan, here you go. It's Vin Diesel. I think the head sculpt looks really cool. For some reason, the ears are blue. Maybe it's supposed to be like that. I don't know. I'm not really a big Bloodshot fan. I'm just a good action figure fan. And this is definitely delivers as far as that goes. The accessories that he comes with are amazing. I love the big knife with the spikes on there. It also comes with the machine gun with the red inside here. Once again, killing it with the wash, the detail, everything. Then another thing that I like is that he can hold all his weapons at one time, so I don't have to put any of these things in the drawer. The guns that he comes with are also really cool, and they fit into the holster. The holsters are cool. The pants are cool. Love the detail. Love the wash. Absolutely killed it. The boots, he did some weird articulation here. Like the bowl is at the top of the boot. I mean, it's just weird that it kind of moves there. I don't really know how else he could have did it. Maybe he could have did some cut or something down here and put some sleeve over it. I'm not complaining. It works. And he has toe articulation, which actually works really good. There's your Bloodshot. If you're a Bloodshot fan, you get it. Let's get some comparisons out here. These are the figures that I decided to pull out for my comparison. We'll go ahead and start down here. This is the OG Spawn figure. I remember when this thing first came out, I was completely blown away. I was like, oh my God, a Spawn action figure. He's perfect. He's 5 inches tall. He matched all my 5-inch figures at the time. He had decent articulation. It was kind of like, okay. At the time, it was the coolest thing out. At least I thought it was. And then he got into a statue stage. And a lot of people were going, man, it's just a statue. It's not really an action figure. It can't even move. And I was totally cool with that because you put that on your shelf and it's just like, wow. Like, I really like that. But a lot of people weren't happy and they were complaining. They say that they needed more articulation in your action figure. And they didn't think that he could do it. And Todd, well, he had to prove everybody wrong. So he came out with something like this. It has an articulated cape in it, and then underneath, tons of articulation. Look, he's got joints in the cape. You come down on this, he's got a toe pivot, an ankle pivot, a double knee, a cut in the thigh, which I didn't really like. The thighs were good at the time, plenty of articulation there, a thigh swivel here, an ab crunch, a wrist, forearm, single elbow, turns at the shoulder here. It has a butterfly joint back when nobody was doing butterfly joints, and everybody goes there. There's a figure with articulation. This is the long chain that I was talking about. I like the long chain cool. I think that the real chain was cool. Todd just do this. I think he just did this to prove a point. I can also make action figures with articulation. But when you look at this, and then you look at something like, well, we'll compare it with an old one to be fair. To me, this looks amazing. It's nice and clean. This doesn't look bad, but when you can see all the joints, I get it. Like, I'm kind of on Todd's side when everybody is saying they need more articulation. I get why he wasn't doing it. He's an artist. This is his artwork, and he didn't want a bunch of joints in it. And so then they made this a couple years ago, which I thought was really cool, but I kind of felt like I already had this. I had figures so similar to this that it was hard to determine which was the new ones and which were the old ones. This thing was amazing. it just, a lot of people, just wasn't enough articulation for it. The legs are stiff. Basically, all you got is like a joint here at the elbow, the forearm, and the head. I think it looks great on the shelf. And so then he got tired of people talking once again, so then he comes out with this. And this is what everybody wanted. I can't show you my collection video fast enough. Let's get so now for my favorite part of the video, where I get to show you my Spawn collection. It's kind of mixed in with McFarlane collection. If I go too fast and you're like, bro, you went too fast, I've did a McFarlane Spawn video. You can go ahead and check that out because I don't want to spend 20 minutes just on this. This is a collection. On the bottom shelf down here is mostly like the Spawn figures, like just Spawn himself. And up here on the second shelf is like Spawn related figures, and up there on the top shelf is just kind of some of his different lines. Look at that elephant dude real quick while we're here, while we're in the neighborhood. Let me go ahead and walk you down the shelf. You can see all three shelves. Once again, I've did a collection video on this, so if you want to see it, you can see it, because I know a lot of you guys are going to go, bro, you went too fast. There's a Malbolgia. He squeezed that thing in a blister. Like, I got 2 of those because one just wasn't enough. This is another one of the highlights where he cut off Malbolgia's head. This is the green version of the figure that I showed you in the video. I don't want to spend too much time on it. You can get that whole 3 sections in the shelf. There's also McFarlane stuff up here on the top shelf, up there, which I have a lot of it. I think I pretty much have all of it. If it wasn't sports related, I bought it. There's Creech, one of my favorite figures of all time. This is also another one of my favorite pieces of all time, that Cyborg Monkey. Look at that Spawn on there. God, that's seeing the Max up there. Another couple of my favorites. Just love it. I don't know, I'm a little giddy right now. Just being able to, I just love Spawn. I don't know what to say. Trash Heap, another highlight. That Overkill, really cool. I got movie figures back there. This is Spawn animated over here. Wetworks here. And then up here on the top shelf, there's all, I got all the, he made all the different variants of the blister cars. He did like gold ones and silver ones. And then he did like hamburger head, regular blue costume, black costume, hamburger. I bought every variant of everything. I don't know why, probably because I'm a sucker. And back then there wasn't that many action. Look at this. Like, when's the last time you seen something like that? I got McFarlane stuff all over the room. I'm just trying to focus on the Spawn stuff. That's it. Thank you guys so much for the figure. Thank you so much for bringing Spawn back into my life. And thanks for watching.